Dave here with your divine masculine version of Tarot Energies Forecast. And my better half Mary does the divine feminine version on our channel, so you can check that out as well. I'm using a 3-card spread with the Robin Wood deck. I love the Robin Wood deck, and I've been drawn back to using it again recently. I love the colors. The colors really help me tune into my intuition as well as any psychic impressions that I get along with whatever I know with my left brain knowledge about tarot. So, as I said, a 3-card spread, and the way it's working is the first card is the overview, the second card is the challenges, okay, and the third card is the solution to those challenges that we may face and what we can do moving forward to get the best results. And trust what comes through, whatever I say, trust what connects with you, what resonates. You just feel maybe a certain click, maybe it's subtle, it might be something strong, but just trust that. And the first card, let's get into it. The first card is the overview, justice. Okay, so justice is about fairness, a balance. It's also a major arcana card. Remember, there are 22 major arcana cards, which are the larger forces that you could say we don't have control over, that are already set in motion, larger forces influencing us. Okay, we do of course have choice how we respond to them. And she's fairness, truth, she's courage, swords are cutting away, so we use swords to cut, and it's an authority kind of a symbol, with the scales showing the balance. So it's showing that the truth is going to come out. Some kind of truth is in the balance that needs to come out. That's the overall situation. The challenge facing us this week is the Page of Wands, and that's like new enthusiasm, something that is in the beginning stages in your life that's you're enthusiastic about, that's starting to grow, a new venture of some kind, some new project, some new initiative in your life, something new that's in the beginning stages. And because it's in the challenge position, what that does, what it says to me is that it's a challenge to stay in touch with that enthusiasm, to stay connected to your inner fire. We have different elements in tarot. Fire, which is the suit of wands, air, which is the suit of swords, water, which is the suit of cups, and earth, which is the suit of pentacles. And we need to utilize all those resources of all the elements. And of course, spirit is working through all the 4 elements. That's symbolized, one of the examples of that as a symbol is the pentagram, for example. Spirit being the top point of the star or the pentagram. So using that inspiration, the challenge is to stay in touch with it. Don't lose touch with it right now. With the optimism, you see the bright yellow, and it's just a feeling of optimism and fire, that just keep nurturing that. That's going to be the challenge, because the solution, which sometimes the challenge and solution, it seems it's contrary or counterintuitive. That happens in tarot quite often, but the way to decipher it is symbolically what it means. And we've got the Devil card. How could the devil possibly be a solution? And if you think about it and look at it, the devil is essentially whatever we haven't looked at, whatever's unconscious, whatever we haven't faced within ourselves. Some people call it the shadow these days. So the devil is like that, everything that we haven't looked at, whether personally on a personal level in our own lives or collectively as a whole, as humanity, has a force. It becomes a force, even though it's an unconscious force. So it seems negative and destructive, and it's restrictive. Okay, so that's really what the devil is, and it's about restriction. If you look at the picture and you look at the image there, the 2 figures reflecting back to the Lover's card, that's another talk maybe that I'll give, but there are two figures in the Lover's card as well, but here, which is number 6, and here we've got number 15, the Devil. 1 plus 5 is 6. So they are now restricted. They're trapped by these chains that bind them to this chest full of seemingly earthly treasures and materialism. So they're trapped by material belief. They've lost connection with the light. They've lost connection with spiritual perspective. They've lost connection with their soul. Okay, now that's on a spiritual level. But what this is saying in our reading today is that the solution is to face whatever it is in you. What in you is sabotaging your life in some way? Like, before I get into that, actually, when I look at this little spread, and I mean, it just makes me, there's somebody I know for sure, somebody who's watching this, maybe more than one person, who's going through a divorce or a separation, for sure, with the Justice, the Page of Wands in the middle, and the Devil. Somebody's feeling held back by the proceedings, and if you're not going through necessarily a divorce, you're thinking about it, you're contemplating it, and you feel restricted in some way with being able to get on with it. But for those of you who aren't going through that, that's an example, okay, of taking the meanings of these cards to a specific kind of a situation in life. And for those of you who aren't going through something like that specifically, but you're in some way you're feeling restricted, but maybe it's what's holding you back. In what way do you doubt yourself to feel the enthusiasm of the page? What way are you dampening that enthusiasm? What way are you perhaps sabotaging yourself, or just feeling restricted in general? Just when those feelings come up that you feel contracted and restricted, full of doubt maybe, like I said, the Devil is unconscious. So all that means is, it doesn't mean unconscious like you're unconscious. It just means that you're not conscious of what those feelings and thoughts, that pattern is. So when you actually look at it directly, without judgment, because judgment is the same thoughts coming back in a different, creating more resistance. So when you just look at it without any desire for an outcome, just looking at it, just observing it, simply watching that pattern, just watch it operate, you're now connected more with your soul, more with your higher self, to use another term, your more awareness, okay, presence. You're connected with that, so you can see the pattern and watch it. And as you watch that pattern, that greater intelligence that is in you and all about you, that gives you actual life, your beingness, your existence, as you connect with that and observe that pattern, you'll start to naturally and spontaneously see that it's just a mental construction. It has no real truth in it. You'll start to see that for yourself, not because I told you, or you read a book that said you shouldn't feel that way because blah, 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 or, it's wrong in some way, or in psychology, positive psychology or something, they say don't do this, do that. You see it for yourself just by watching it, and it will start to dissolve. It'll start to lose its power over you, at least when in this layer. We have so many layers coming up that get triggered at different times. So it's not to say that you'll never feel doubt again, or doubt will never be triggered, but you'll start to develop that tool of being able to look at it, see it for what it is, and it'll spontaneously start to dissolve its power. Okay, you'll see it's just a phantom. It's not real. It has no substance or life in and of itself. It only had life and power because you hadn't looked at it. So it started operating through your nervous system. So that's the solution, is to face these inner obstacles or inner doubts, inner sabotage within yourself. And by doing that, the page will be able to shine, that enthusiasm will be able to shine, and whatever new start is just beginning in your life, and that new inspiration that you're starting to feel and start to move toward will begin to shine through more clearly, and things will rebalance into the justice. The scales of justice will begin to recalibrate and rebalance. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was inspiring. If you'd like to learn more about my readings, you can look below at the link on my website. And thank you so much for being here and watching the start of our YouTube journey as Mystic Seers. I'm sure that hopefully there's a lot more to come in various different directions. I'll see you next time. Thanks.